gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Welcome to Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. I am your host, Jeff. And we got a special interview tonight. My good buddy, I love this guy, Jerry Witunsky, is here along with Derek Moniz. Moniz, how do I say it?
Moniz is good.
Moniz, okay. From the band Ancient Death, and we are here to talk about their forthcoming first LP, Ego Dissolution, out on Profound Lore on April 18th, next week, next Friday night. Howdy, guys. How you doing? We'll pretend like we didn't talk already. What's happening?
Great, man. Doing wonderful. Thanks for having me again and having us tonight.
Absolutely, man. And I got your partner in crime coming on tomorrow too.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Alex is coming in to talk about Desiderium, which, man, I don't know. You got to leave some of these riffs for Kelly, man. Holy shit, dude.
Oh, we got some stuff brewing for sure.
I know. Yeah, he's kind of been filling me in, so that's cool. But well, listen, man. So first album. Now you guys do have an EP out. It was called Sacred Vessel, and if I remember correctly, Jerry, I believe I hit you up. And I was like, dude, this shit's pretty freaking cool, man. That would have been like, when did that come out? That came out in 22.
2022, yeah, August of 2022. Right,
and I don't think I listened to it until like 23 after we met down in Baltimore, and I was kind of surprised because quite different from Atheist, like very different from Atheist, and I was fucking stunned by your vocals, man. And this album is even more. I'm like, how the hell does sweet little Jerry, nice sweetheart of a guy that came over at the show and wanted to make sure we were all taken care of, and my daughter who was with us was all taken care of. How does that guy sound so fucking horrifying, man?
Trauma.
Trauma. There you go. Trauma. Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, it's, I got to be honest. I was talking to Derek before he came on, Jerry, and I indicated to you in our text, dude, this album is fucking massively killer. I was like, not that I was surprised. It's just, I put it on and I'm like, oh, we got to go back and do that again. And we'll talk a little bit about the one real plus about it and also my one little nitpick about it in a little bit here.
Ah, okay.
And that is that it's a little, I want like two more songs.
I
want like two more songs.
I mean, yeah.
Like you always want to leave them wanting more. So there you go. Mission accomplished, right? So, but yeah, so this is the album, and I'm going to pull up the, of course, I only have the promo, and I was saying to Derek that I've had the album now for about 6 weeks, but because of everything I had going on, a lot of traveling for shows and other interviews and deep dives and all the stuff that I do on here, I only got to really start listening to it about 2 days ago when we confirmed, and I'm like, oh, man, I got to go order this, like now. And then I go to order it, and the vinyl's all sold out, and that's a killer looking vinyl. And I was like, no. So maybe, did you guys get any of those for any shows?
Yeah, we got a small batch of them that Chris from Profound sent us.
Gotta hook your boy up. up.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, we'll definitely be getting some more in. I mean, we sold them out at that. We did a release show for it, last Sunday, kind of to promote the record a little more and give everyone a chance to listen to it early and get a copy early. But yeah, all those sold out. So we're like, oh all right.
That's a good thing. And Derek, you were saying that they've sold out. Well, they have sold out at least the vinyl has.
The CDs as well. The CDs as well.
No,
there is going to be a cassette format, but that came completed later in the game. So I'm sure those will be popping up soon as well.
Yeah, I hate to say, Derek, we talked about this. Being almost 60, I came up in the cassette age. I don't get it. I hated them back then. I hate them even more now. So when they do a repress on that vinyl, I'll be all in on it.
Yeah.
So
No, it's interesting. It's such a polar thing because I know like a few people that they'll only buy cassettes. Like it's the most bizarre thing. There's no one I really talked to yet that are like, both are cool. But lately it's been like cassette, I don't get it, or gotta have that only. It's so bizarre.
Well, I think they're kind of especially for younger dudes. No offense, Jerry, you're the young guy here, so I'll talk to you all night. But the young dudes that weren't there, kind of when that was happening, it's kind of a cool collector sort of thing that it's like kind of a way to reconnect with maybe the late 80s and the 90s. And for dudes like me, that was the only way you could listen to music portably back in that era when, you know, you had, in my case, my stereo system in my 76 VW, my cassette deck was worth more than the VW was. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like that was the thing. But you know, you'd always have the tape being eaten up and garbled up and all that kind of shit like that. And you're like, ah.
I mean,
you know,
I don't know. I mean, I'm really partial because I came up through the demo age, 1990, 91, 92, and that was what was out there. That's what you got. You ordered tapes in 7-inches, and I've always seemed to have good luck with them as a kid, and I could afford them, which was big. You know, things $3, $5, $7.99, $8.99. That seemed to be the standard. You know, under $10, you could get, you know, an LP, and with a cheap boombox, you're good to go.
Yeah, and I mean, especially for that era, especially you said you're about 10 years younger than me, so you had that boombox culture. You were out there with your boombox with your bros, whether you were partying or where you were, what you were doing, your Walkman. Yeah, so Jerry's like, man, I've heard of these things. I have not seen these things.
Yeah,
like
a caveman tool, whatever. Yeah,
the caveman shit. Yeah, real quick before we get into history and the album itself, I want to point out my buddy Alan is in here from Heavy Metallurgy. I can never say that word right. Heavy Metallurgy. They're a really cool YouTube channel. He and his partner Marty do a weekly Friday night show where they bring on guests. Like last night was Jason Walton from Agalloch, and they did like 1994, and they pulled, you know, the best albums in '94 from their collections and shit like that. But what he noted here, which is cool, is that I got it. There it is. Cool to see Ancient Death on the show. I just recorded a review of the album earlier today, so that'll probably be dropping in the next week or so. And he follows that up by saying, one more song on the album would see. He's with me right away, right? One more song would have been great, but fantastic listen, and he is right. This album, Jerry, you weren't on yet, but I gotta say, man, we're in April, so it's early, but this is an album of the year contender for me right out of the gate, man. This shit is wicked. So I got a lot to say about it, and I'll get onto that in a minute. But what I'd really like to do is, and I think what I'm going to do is change the view, if you guys don't mind here.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's do it this way. Let's start with Jerry. I'll let you start and tell us a little bit about the origins, not the oranges, the origins of the band. The oranges, okay. The origins of the band, and kind of, you know, how you and Derek came together. This is not the first recorded material, as I mentioned. You do have an EP out there. And was there a demo? I think it was a demo, right?
Yeah, we did a split release with Putridarium from Germany that was released on Necroharmonic, and then we also did a demo last November to, you know, kind of, it was where we were at that moment in time. But yeah, so this will be technically our 4th overall release, but our first full length.
So how'd the band come together? Like, what's the origin story there?
I had begun writing some of this music probably far back as 2014, you know, and I was doing another band at the time,
Was this when you were like 7 years old or 8 years old or something?
Basically. Yeah, I was in my early mid-teens, maybe like, I don't know, I think I was 16 or something in 2014, little baby. But yeah, Ray, the other guitarist, him and I were in another group together that we were together for maybe like 6, 7, 8 years or something like that. But I had begun writing this kind of material, and it felt very different than what we were doing at the time. So I kind of just kept writing and just kind of putting it away. And then eventually I decided, I was like, okay, I want to do this project. Like this is where my heart is at. And so, yeah, so Ray came along, and Jasmine, our bass player, this is like it's crazy because it's her first band ever. And she learned how to play bass just to play in this band.
Wow.
So absolutely insane. I mean, like the things she learned in such a short amount of time was incredible. I mean, I'm just like,
now, were you guys all friends in the local area? Did you go to school together? Or?
Yeah, Ray and Jasmine lived in the same town, and I was the town over. So back in high school, I've known Ray since I was 12, and we've been playing music for almost 16 years almost. Wow. So him and I are like kind of like different halves of or two sides of the same coin almost.
Okay.
We, he's kind of like my musical partner in terms of writing and playing guitar. Sort of like how I feel with Alex and Atheist and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so we've always been bonded. It's kind of like our our spoken language is playing music together. And then yeah, and so Jasmine is a really great friend of ours, and so that's the three of us were playing, and we had started the band with my buddy Dave from Mourned, and we were just jamming over the summer, and I had shown him some material, and it was fun, but we went into COVID and all that stuff, so and he was focused on that project, so it was really from the start it was Jasmine, Ray, and I, and then Derek came along. I had asked him to do session drums for Sacred Vessel initially. We were playing in another group together too. And we had met previously, but yeah, so we've all been friends for quite a while. We're like family,
Well, then let me get you in here a sec, Derek. So, what's the metal scene like in that area that you're hooking up with? Younger guys like Jerry and I assume the rest of the band. Jerry's more your age, right?
Yeah. Ray and Jasmine are both my age. Yeah.
So how does Dad come into everything? Just kidding.
Well, for sure.
Jerry's in two bands
like older brother.
So I think what it was. So like when we were doing another band, and Jerry's talent is like Jerry's talent. I'm sure you're aware of that. So
yep.
I really wanted to, get this dude into what was going on. And I think what it was the material that they had needed someone that knows that genre, because it's important. We all know. And drummers aren't the easiest thing to get. So at least around here. I mean, yeah. I don't consider myself this like blasting technical drummer, but I have been doing it for a long time. So, and I've been listening to this music since 1988.
Right, sure.
Playing it for a very long time. My first death metal band was 1989. I mean,
wow,
a long time. So kind of feel like I kind of know this music pretty well at this point. So, I kind of feel like. It was we had a chemistry already, and that really, I think prompted Jerry to ask if I'd be willing to help him out on this. So we just they already had, a few songs for me to record an EP, and we quickly just got it together and just recorded them within, I'd say like 2 months or 3 months, we were tracking everything.
And Derek, you're a Mass guy too, or are you?
I'm a Rhode Island guy.
You're a little south. Okay.
I'm Providence. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, like, I did want to do this, and I forgot to. Let me pull up the album here, and that's unfortunately the best I can do because I don't have. There we go. And we got to talk about this artwork right away, right off the bat, right? I mean, this artwork is fucking badass. I can't wait. Come on now, stop that. All right. Well, you can see 2 views of it there. Man, this is like, damn. Okay, talk about that real quick, then we'll get into the music. The artist's name again was, Jerry?
Megan LeMay. She's a tattoo artist out of Rhode Island that Derek's familiar with, and yeah, she's an incredible artist. She had done actually our Glowing Auras single cover and the demo 2024 cover also. So
did she do your logo or
no? My friend Exy from the Philippines actually did our logo. He worked on like old cover art from previous bands I've done, and so I think my last band, Garroted, was like the first band I think he had done artwork for. So it's really cool to still have that friendship after what feels like almost a decade. It's got to be at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of a special talent coming up with these crazy freaking these almost unreadable logos. It is kind of funny when you think about it. It's kind of funny about make your logo as illegible and unreadable as possible.
Yeah.
But we can actually make that one out. I can make that one out.
I mean, it kind of lets you know where you are. Like if I'm looking at a bunch of like 2-type logos, I don't think I'm listening to death metal. And so I kind of feel like I'm at home when I see some stick logo and someone complaining about it being illegible. Then I know that I belong there or whatever. That's my, I feel that's where I'm supposed to be at. So.
Right. We got Schnell in the house. I think Schnell. I don't think I've ever seen you on one of my interviews. I don't know if you guys know Adam Schnellenbach from the Vital Vinyl.
I've seen him before.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
Adam's a local Philly guy, and we've run into each other at shows. I think we ran into each other at Blood Incantation last time. He's asking, is the art inspired by Obituary at all? I think the color scheme certainly might.
Well, it's funny because I'm wearing an Obituary shirt, but for the record, it is not inspired by it as much as we love that record. I had given Megan basically one of our song lyrics and gave her the themes of the record. And I had some ideas of like, hey, this is what I was envisioning. And she executed it the way she did. But it is funny that people are making that comparison because it's totally unintentional. But
sure, I think more than anything, it's more the color scheme than anything.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like if that's what people are like, hey, this looks like this, like I love that record. I have no problems with it, and honestly, I think it by itself, it's killer fucking artwork.
Well,
I was wrong. It's not Schnell. It's the guitar player in Schnell's band, The Cursed Womb. So PH, thanks for being here, buddy. Yeah. Go ahead, Derek.
Just something to kind of say it. It's kind of ironic to me that like someone will, compare a cover in death metal when just about everything has been done already.
Yeah.
So to have something look like something else is a little ironic to me.
Yeah.
But and what's even funnier is that cover wasn't even originally Obituary's cover. It was for the original Beneath the Remains album, which was taken from an H.P. Lovecraft book. So the cover is not even Obituary's, original cover.
idea or anything like that.
So people, I don't know if people know that or not, but like I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
It's not even their art. It's H.P. It's a it's an illustration to an H.P. Lovecraft book. And if I was like tech savvy, so I'll send you the book. You can just Google it and it'll come right up.
Yeah.
You know, and
now that
you
you say that, I think I did read that or saw that somewhere. But I think it fits this music because it's got this. You know, the new catchword in death metal now is, for a while it was cavernous. Now it's cosmic. Everything's cosmic, and cavernous was the tomb mold and the Spectral Voice and that stuff. Everything's cavernous, you know.
Right.
There's an element of this that really fits the cosmic descriptor, because you guys have slamming again, and I said this to Derek. I think maybe I said it to you, Jerry. There's incredibly memorable riffs here, and they're very melodic, but they're very fucking heavy. They're very heavy, but they're super earwormy. Like one pass, and I was like, oh man. I heard like four. You know, I play, so like I'm right away going, oh man, I wish I'd written that riff right there. That's badass. You know, the bane of being a guitar player. You hear everybody else going, oh, that's the riff I should have wrote right there. You know, that kind of thing. But it's there. Then you filter in often. You know, you're slamming with these intense, heavy, old school death metal sort of vibey things, riff passages. And then you bring in sort of this really almost this cosmic feel where you slow things down, and you've got almost some ethereal drifting sort of passages. For example, you know, I'm going to have to look at the track names because I don't remember them off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I'm old. But you got songs like, okay, an Ego Dissolution comes right out of the gate, just fucking punches you in the face relentlessly for about 2.5, 3 minutes, and then you get into this drifting sort of section, and then you jump into these incredible leads. And Jerry, I know you're a great lead player, but I gotta be honest with you, I was kind of like, whoa, okay. All the leads are smoking, but they're very melodic and very memorable and very lyrical within the context of, which you don't hear that often in death metal. Somebody say, oh, that solo is very lyrical, and by that I mean melodically lyrical. It kind of carries the song, and that's throughout this entire album. All the solos are like that, and they're not you know wanky, over the top, you know, sweeping and stuff like that. I mean, there are some sweeps here and there, but they're not like overt, in your face Yngwie shit where it just goes on and on and on. It's very melodic and for the song, and that's a rare thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, it's like interesting. Like, it's really important to state that I'm like self-taught, and I started playing guitar when I was 4. And the way I had learned was watching Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. Like my dad had it on a VHS tape, and I worshipped that video. I watched it every single day since I was 4 years old. So everything I know about guitar, I learned from just watching David Gilmour play. And it's interesting you said that, like the solos make you think that they're lyrical and stuff, because I feel like that's kind of like the biggest thing I've gotten from his playing, at least, I'm not trying to recreate his sound, of course, but he's like a massive influence on my playing and basically everything I know about guitar. But I feel like he just channels an emotion that's truly just like trying to make a statement of how he's feeling. And so I think, like, when I approach solos myself, and Ray also, because he's an absolute shredder and such an amazing guitar player, we just want to complement the songs. Like, I don't care about being flashy and showing off. Like, that's the last thing I care about. I don't want to be the front and center. Like, I just want to contribute or make the music the best it can be for what it is. It's less about each of us individually. It's about the collective. So,
of course, yeah. And
so the solos are just as important as the riffs and each instrument and the words and the lyrics and the different vocal styles, and they're all really important, and if you slack off in one of them, I think it just doesn't feel genuine to me. But thanks, man. That was really cool.
So now
you enjoy it.
Real quick, and PH is saying the same thing, that the solos are very memorable, and they really are. They're, again, I'm a as much as I love death metal and extreme metal and black metal and all that weird shit, and it is weird shit, let's be honest. It's but it's my weird shit. It's our weird shit, right? So the thing that I always have to have, and why I'm not a big fan of like what I would call more like noise metal bands, like maybe like Full of Hell or something along that line, is that generally I have to have something melodically I can tap into. I have to hear something that makes me go, you know, that's not to say that I can't listen to like a noise album and appreciate the experimentation and the weirdness and all that stuff. But it's rare that it's going to make me go, oh man, I really got to listen to that again. You know what I mean? Like that's just how my mind works as a guitarist, as a singer, myself.
Well, I kind of feel like my thing is, even though there's some amazing like grindcore bands that have like incredible riffing, but I can't listen to bands with no bass. Like, I mean, I kind of feel like maybe it's because the riffs are so complex that like it's difficult to have a bass player play the same stuff. But like, and maybe like listening to it in audio might be a little more interesting. But I gotta have bass in my bands. Like, I gotta listen to a bass player with everything. So there's that for me. You know, it's just my taste when it comes to music.
How are all now? Some of these, am I wrong about this? Are these all new songs, Jerry, or relatively new songs?
So or everything's new. 3 of the songs were on our demo. We had recorded them where we were in the stages of the songs at that point in time, which, you know, we've edited them. We play them differently, you know, after, you know, I'm a huge supporter of like playing songs live a bunch before you go and record them, because that's where they really breathe and you get to really be in it. So we had done those 3 songs, and we recorded it ourselves with the help of Dan Lowndes, who also mastered Ego Dissolution. He had mastered the demo for us also, and helped us you know, mix it and also engineer it. But I feel like by the time we had a full record written, those songs, I mean, we always knew they were gonna have to be a part of that. Like they're just too ripping, and we wanted them to be the best versions they could be. But you know, we added lyrics, we changed parts, we changed solos, and I'm really happy with. I love both versions, but the newest ones are really insane and on another level than I think I could have even imagined. So,
Derek, were you involved in? Derek, were you involved in the writing? Were you involved in the writing of these, or did you come in after they were?
No, I was involved. The one thing I think though is a lot of people is, you know, kind of talking about, there should be some more songs, or maybe one more song. Like that's definitely a legit critique. But what I can say is that for the time frame that we had, I think that was the most organic product. So like, I almost feel like if there's any more songs, the quality wouldn't have been what it is. You know, like, so I kind of feel like we do things at a pace that we know, and we definitely don't like to force things. So I feel like we hit the mark with like how many songs we did on the record as far as that context, you know.
And it goes back to what I said about leaving them wanting more. Having people want a little more is a hell of a lot better than having people go, oh, that's a skipper. That's a skipper. That's a skipper. And
that was like the big thing with us or whatever too, like doing this, like, even though we weren't trying to write like a song and be like, it has to be this length. We knew, we were like, we don't want to write a really, really long record. Cause for me personally, like more than 40 minutes, like 35, 40 minutes, I get annoyed with metal. It's just bashing at my face all the time. And I feel like where we, you know, back in the day, like, you know, bands had to write for vinyl and get it onto that. So it was very intentional. So I feel like we discarded tons of riffs, you know, parts, things that we wanted to try, and, you know, and it was all very intentional. But we also were like Derek said, like, we were very organic in the process that we created the songs. We let them flow until they felt finished, but we also had that like kind of in the back of our heads too. Like, you know, I don't know, like I'd rather someone want to listen to the record again than go, man, when is this going to end? You know,
Yeah.
like,
now let me throw something at you here. So Thursday night, a good buddy of mine that we do a lot of collaborations, we decided we do these deep dives where we pull bands catalog and we go into the studio catalog and we dive in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the bands we'd been wanting to do is the band Ruins of Beverast, which is basically a one-man.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know them? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Alexander von Mielenwald, just fucking beyond dynamite musician. But every one of those albums is an hour to an hour and 20 minutes long. 68 minutes. And when you get done with 6 albums that are that long, you feel like you literally had your ass kicked with a Louisville.
Yeah,
you just are like, okay, my brain, I need to turn off for a few days. I don't want to listen to music. I don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to take phone calls. I don't want to answer texts. It's just too much. And there was that point in the 90s and 2000s in particular when the CD became the music platform du jour, that every band and the labels are like, hey, man, we got to fill this thing up. You got to give me 79 minutes. You got to give me 68 minutes, 79 minutes. And the human attention span back then wasn't, and it's way worse now than it was back then. Yeah. But I mean, you know, like we say, we live in the TikTok generation now, which does suck. But there's that, I think the real sweet spot of music is in that 35 to 42 minute range where you can engage your brain and shut the world out and be locked in before you go, oh, fuck, I forgot to turn the oven off, or, oh, shit, I gotta be somewhere, you know, that kind of thing. So this works good. And again, my little minor criticism was more meant as a joke than anything else.
Oh, no, I think that's great. I'm always open to it. And I love that. You know, it's honest. And that's what, like, this music's great. You know, what makes it so good is like, all right, we know how to, you know, we know what to focus on sometimes or what to dismiss, you know?
Right,
it's a good thing, man. Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
So I want to dig into the tracks real quick a little bit. But before we do, you guys, we kind of talked about it a little bit before. I don't know if we did it when we were live. You guys did a kind of a pre-record release show on Sunday. Was it Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you opened for Vastum up in
Worcester.
Where at? Austin?
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay. So was that something? Did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you? How'd that come together?
No, we work with a promoter. His name's Kevin, and he does like all the greatest, like all the best shows. And Worcester is done through Kevin Ord. He's called Codex Obscurum Presents.
Okay.
And he's been doing shows up here for at least 15, 16 years now, maybe a little less. I don't know the exact number, but so every time something comes around, we always get approached about, you know, certain shows if we want to, you know, get on it or not, or whatever the case is, if we're available. And we just happened to be available right before Jerry was going on tour. So it was awesome we were able to get on that. So.
Let's talk about that real quick. Derek brought it up pre you joining us, Jerry. This all was going on before you got the call from Mr. Schaefer, apparently. Is that right? Cool. Like as far as this band was going on pre-Atheist.
Yeah. This was definitely pre-Atheist. It's funny enough, a lot of people don't realize this, but we had started this band before my previous band Garroted had even broken up. I had already begun moving towards this stuff before we split up. So it's been since 2019 is when I was like, I'm gonna make a band. And I had already had the seeds planted for a little while, but yeah, 2019. So it's been a while. And then
so my question there is, did the Atheist thing throw any kind of a monkey wrench into things as far as timing, or not really?
No, not at all. I mean,
I wouldn't say so either.
Yeah, Kelly's. I mean, he's obviously. I mean, you know him. He's so supportive and such a such a true metalhead and just supports music in general.
Oh, yeah.
And he's always been 100% behind all of our projects. So
I sent him a text earlier. I'm like, dude, with a picture of the album. I'm like, this fucking rules, man. Like, you better hope he saves some riffs for you, man.
No, I kind of feel like we had some success shortly before the Atheist stuff took off again. Like we had this weird kind of thing that happened with Bandcamp where we were featured with like a ghost EP, and it was just really crazy. And it was just as soon as that happened, it seemed like boom, boom, boom. All people.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
We had the top. Like it was like the top 10 metal albums selling albums on Bandcamp
in the month of August, like pure.
Wow.
So,
and we released it at the last week of August, so we were just right next to Ghosts and stuff like that, you know. And
it was really bizarre.
Out of a band that's never released anything before.
Yeah, how about that?
That's very random, but exciting. You know, we were just like, "What is this?" You know, and then like offers started coming, and then we decided on something, and then sure enough, like nobody even knew Jerry was an atheist yet, and so that was kind of cool. You know, like we did it as a band, as a unit. There was no other bands involved in the progression, you know, and Jerry got the chance to play for a killer band. In everyone wins, you know, Atheist rules, you know, so it's just such a cool little thing the way everything happened.
Which we'll mention it real quick here now, and then we'll tie it up at the end. But Jerry's going out on tour in how many days? Pretty soon.
I leave on Friday. When the album drops, actually, is when I'm heading out to San Diego. And
when's the first date? Is that the first date, San Diego?
No, the first date is San Diego. It's on April 20th.
Okay.
So 420 started with a boom.
420. There you go. Oh man. You know, let me see. Do I know anybody that practices 420? Oh. Nah, I can't say I do. Just kidding. Yeah, so that's going to be killer, and then that's going for nearly 5 weeks, is it?
Yeah, so we're doing the Shred Fest with Obscura, and we're going to be going all over North America. So you know, hitting the U.S. and Canada, and then we're then we have another show, and then we're going to Australia and then Japan. So,
crazy, man.
Yeah, so I'm be gone for like 2 months or something like that, which. Is pretty insane, but
you're stoked about that, right? That's going to be super.
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to visit Tokyo since I was like 7 years old, and when I was a little kid, I remember I had Guns N' Roses live in Tokyo. It's like 1992, and I had watched that film, and I was like, and I remember telling myself when I was like 7, I was like, man, if I ever get to play Japan, then you have made it, you know? And so like, it doesn't matter what level of that, but if you just play that, then and I
believe this is the first time Atheist has gone to
ever,
in Australia.
Career of the band, So
and I got buddies
able to be a part of that, you know?
I got some buddies in one of the bands that are opening for you in Australia, Alarum. Mark, the guys in Alarum, and John.
Oh, nice.
That'll be cool. Yeah. So we'll get to what plans may be ahead for Ancient Death in a little bit here. I really wanted to touch on some of these tracks here. We should mention that I don't know if it's out yet because I don't have sorry, Albert, I apologize. I don't actually have a subscription to Decimal, but I was at all of your events. I was out in Denver and I was just down in Philly, so I do support. But I think the new Decibel, is it out yet, like on the stands?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's on the stands yet, but you can get it. And you know, people have been posting the articles and you know, the photos.
9 out of 10, man. 9 out of 10. That's pretty fucking badass, right?
Dude, it's pretty amazing. We're super grateful for it.
Definitely, very cool that they did that much press on us.
Who did the write up? You know,
Dutch Pierce.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, he did the interview portion with us. So.
Well, I totally, man, I honestly would err almost on a 10 out of 10. I'm being honest. Like I am fucking floored. I'm not lying, man. I am kind of floored by how good this album is. Not in the like, oh, I'm surprised. I know what a good musician you are, and Derek. You know, I don't know your material as well, but one thing I really want to touch on is the sound of the drums on here. So give me a minute, and if I lose track, get me back on track. Cool. But what I really love we'll just go there. What I love about this album is, man, it does not sound digital at all. It sounds really fucking organic. It sounds like cranked fucking Marshalls or Rectos or whatever you're using. It doesn't matter. And I don't know, and you can tell me what you did do, but Absolutely. It sounds, you're going to say, oh, it's all digital, probably. But okay. But the reality, what I really love about this album is the drums, man. They're not quantized and triggered. They sound like you're in the fucking room getting hit in the face with the drum sound. And there's, I don't want to say slop because that's not the word I'm looking for. That sounds negative. But there's a realness and a roominess to the drums on this album you don't hear on a lot of modern death metal anymore, which I'm so fucking tired of hearing. And this is like a real breath of fresh air. So let's talk about recording it real quick and what you did, what you used, where you were at. You said you recorded at home, so I'm guessing you didn't even go into like a legit studio?
Oh, no. I'm kind of smiling because these are all the things, these are all intentional things that we kind of pride ourselves on when we made this record, before we made this record. So there is nothing on my drums except for 2 room mics. So we recorded in a studio in Pawtucket, a very prestigious one called Machines with Magnets. There's been a lot of bands, more emo kind of indie bands that record there typically, but has done a lot of metal records, a lot of heavy records as well. Maybe like metallic hardcore records, but it's a very prestigious studio. And around here, I think it's probably the best for what we needed. And it's close by. So the first day we had time, but the studio itself didn't. So we had 5 days to record the record, which is not a lot of time. No, but the first day, was my only day off, all day. You know, the rest of the week I was able to work in the morning and then go to the studio because that's how local it was. I could work on stuff after work. So the first day, the engineer, and it has a little 2-year-old, and they both got deathly sick with some kind of virus and couldn't leave. And that was the day that I had to track everything, you know. Well, I mean, at least get, as much done as I could. So luckily, one of the guys who works there has a repair studio in the basement where he works on people's amps and guitars. So I knew him for a long time. So I just said, hey, can I just go over there and maybe set my stuff up? And he goes, absolutely. He goes, just meet Dominic at the door and you can get everything ready. So I went in and I just basically tuned all my shit and got everything prepped. And it was just amazing that I was able to do that. And all there was on the drums was a analog, preamp and compressor with 2 room mics. One would be in a separate room that created a lot of that reverb that you hear.
Yeah.
And we didn't use any up sampling. We didn't use any triggers or any clicks. And we wanted to have that built-in, this is how it's supposed to sound. If there was mistakes, I wanted people to hear them. I wanted to hear that natural old, because that's how a lot of those iconic albums were made, Altars of Madness and just a lot of records
all those.
Yeah,
all those Tampa albums. And before they got into
and I mean, is that to say we're going to do that forever? Who knows? But I think that it was fitting for what we wanted to do, and we got out exactly what we wanted by doing it that way.
Well, who mixed the album? You guys?
It was us and Seth Manchester. And Seth Manchester's 2 recording engineers.
You co-produced with him then? Is that?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Jerry, what do you? Again, Derek, love the drum performance on it, man. Fucking badass. I really wish every death metal band would do that. Really, I wish they would. I mean, you know, I ran into Scott Burns over the weekend down in Philly, and I love Scott to death. I've had him on the show. He's the most sweetest guy. But there is you could point the finger at him of one bad thing that he did for death metal is a lot of the drum performances all sound the same because it's all that triggered sample thing. But I like it. I want to hear a little bit of slop because I want to know that it's real, like in the room. Like if I was watching you guys rehearse, and that's the other thing, that points out how well you were rehearsed on these tracks. If you knocked them out in 5 days, you guys knew this shit inside and out. You didn't just show up and go, man, I don't know. How's that part go? You know, you can't do that in 5 days.
That's true.
So,
I mean, we were lucky because we all lived close by. Now we're Jerry and Jasmine. They actually live 4 hours away now. But at the time, everyone was close by. We were able to get together on a regular basis to work out the songs for the record. And you know, I was in and out of my drum tracks in 5 hours. And
wow.
Yeah. So, and I think everyone their performances were very, you know, just spot on, in and out, not a lot of edits, not a lot of punch-ins. It's just really, really cool. You know, I'm glad we did that.
Jerry, tell me a little bit about the guitar stuff that you and I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Ray.
Sorry,
Ray. His name's Ray Brower, and we always make the joke because that's the kid's name, that the dead kid from Stand By Me.
Oh, that's right, it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
The dead kid in our band.
So he's dead and alive. He's alive.
Yeah, that we're all gonna try and find, you know, beneath the tracks.
So what are you using on this as far as like amping effects?
Honestly, it's really, really basic and straightforward. Like, you know, I use a PV6505 Plus head. You know, it's one of the most common amps, but it's just such a killer fucking tone. And
they're big and roomy, man. They're big and roomy.
It's amazing. I love it so much.
Yep.
Ray uses actually a 5150 Iconic. So he had just upgraded to that. So he kind of has a little bit of a different sound, even though it's technically the same amp. It has a little different of a tone. And then we just use, you know, Marshall 1960 cabs. So that's kind of basically the bare bones of what we used. I mean, obviously we had some pedals here and there for the effects, but you know, I also wanted to note, because I think this is really important in terms of like how we recorded our music, is Derek and I usually go in together and when we track drums, I do a scratch guitar, and it's just the two of us in a room, just how we're feeling it with each other.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of the energy you get. So when we record the rest of the songs, it's based off of that energy that we felt in that moment. So I think that's like really important to note. I think that's where it feels that looseness really gets to breathe. But those tight sections, it shows just the chemistry we have with one another. And the same goes for Jasmine and Ray too. Like, even though it's only Derek and I in there that first day, I mean, Jasmine and Ray are there. They're seeing it. Like, well, when everyone comes together too, it's you know, it stacks up on each other. So, but yeah, so we used pretty basic equipment, and then Jasmine,
do you use just the BC Rich that you're using, or do you use the V2? Or
that's my main guitar that I use for Ancient Death for sure. I want to say I recorded probably 85% of the record with it. I also used a Jackson Warrior that I had got, with 7 strings. It's funny because everyone's always like, when they hear 7-string, they go, "Oh, they're just gonna hit the B string, a bunch of open notes," you know. But for me, it's just like you know, just expanding that musical palette. You know,
right.
Be able to hit these low notes, but still hit all the high shit I grew up with on string.
So wait, then are you tuned in B, or are you?
Yeah, we're tuned in B.
Okay.
But yeah, we use 7-string guitars for everything. The only song that I don't play anything with the B string in is "Journey to the Inner Soul," which is the instrumental.
Which I wanted to touch on that
standard tuning guitar.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that track. It's very proggy, man. It's got a pretty good proggy vibe, but I would call it more doomy prog. It's got like a doom element to it, which I was reluctant to. And now I finally came back to a question I wanted to ask you at the beginning, and it's totally ADHD my way past it. But I hear a good amount of doom on here, but it's not like Candlemass doom or Solitude Eternus doom. It's just more the aura of doom, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Doom death, I guess, kind of. Maybe a little bit of like more up tempo, My Dying Bride or something like that. But my question to you is, what influences do you guys tap into for Ancient Death? And I get it, you hate that fucking question because it's always leading. You're like, well, no, man, we have our own sound, but we all know we steal our sound.
No, absolutely.
We encompass everything we listen to. So what are the bands that you two hear in your music? And then I'll drop a few that I hear.
Well, I think it's important to note that
this is a great one right here, by the way. That's a great one.
Absolutely. Got it right over there.
Chasm. I hear some Chasm in there. A lot of Chasm.
Yeah. So Ray's a huge Chasm guy for sure. He loves the Chasm. I honestly, for us, I mean, we have gazillions of influences. Like anyone who says that they're not inspired by the bands they listen to is talking bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like for us, the whole point of Ancient Death is about embracing every aspect of yourself. And in terms of the lyrics, they're always emotional things that we're feeling. And it's just embracing the whole palette of human emotion. But I feel it's the same with the music we listen to, like when I listen to music, it's an emotional experience that I have. Absolutely. Very personal. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, there's a gazillion list of bands. Every single band that I've ever been into has probably influenced some sort of how I approach music or how I play. But I think it's not trying to recreate that. It's more trying to maybe touch on those moods or atmospheres that those bands have previously explored, but we're still trying to be honest and genuine to ourselves. And I think it's like we're the four of us on our own, like individuals, we're all these different influences blended into one. And then when you add all four of us together on top of that, it just creates a whole another thing. So I think when, like when bands say like, we have a sound like no one else, that's probably what they're trying to say is like, hey, this is how we're feeling it. Like it's unique, this combination, because if one of the four of us wasn't in it, it'd be completely different.
Right.
But I think, but I mean, like we listen to things from fucking all death metal bands. Like, I mean, like, especially like doomy stuff. Like when we're writing music, I don't actively think like, I got to do this doomy part like this, but like, like people don't mention Autopsy when people mention doom, and Autopsy has slow ass shit.
Doom, super
funeral, and Severed Survival, and Fiend for Blood and shit like that. But then there's obviously like the more apparent doom influences like Disembowelment and stuff like that.
Yes.
But for me, like it's not the slow, heavy shit of Disembowelment that gets me. It's like the clean, fucking, really pretty reverby shit. And but it's like even with us, like I feel like we do it in our kind of our own way. That's not ripping off Disembowelment at all. It's for me, it's more shoegaze stuff like Slow Dive and My Bloody Valentine and all that stuff.
And if I recall correctly, when I listened to your EP way back, 2 years ago, seems like way back anyway. It wasn't that long.
Forever,
But I think the first thing I remember saying to you, particularly on the long track, the 9-minute track, which I don't remember the title of, I apologize.
Yeah, Voice Spores.
I think I said to you, dude, I hear a lot of Cure in this. And you were like, really? Really?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I love the Cure.
Yeah, we do listen to the Cure.
Yeah. Now, here's what I'm going to throw at you, and I don't know how familiar either of you guys are, but the third track, Breathe, Transcend into the Glowing Streams of Forever.
Mm-hmm.
Two things to note about that. First of all, Jasmine's vocal contribution. You got to do more of that, dude. You got to do more of her. Like you got to use her. I get it. You don't want to oversaturate with that, but
stay tuned for sure.
You got to use more of her. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she's killing it, man.
It adds just this haunting, spooky dimension to the tracks that you're like, yeah, give me lots more of that.
Well, hey, I just want to
yeah.
I want to interject something really quick too while it's fresh in my head. That like a lot of people say what they want about female vocal, but I'll tell you, one of the most iconic metal records of all time, which is To Megatherion, has some of the greatest female vocal passages.
Oh, yeah.
So by us doing, we're not like pulling out something that's never been done, but it's time to add some iconic stuff into this music sometimes. That
are either of you guys familiar with the band? Oh, Jeff, come on. Oh my God. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. I can't believe my brain is freaking.
We had it.
Yeah, hang on.
It's all the time.
I got it. Fear of God. Have you guys ever heard the album?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, dude. That album is the most haunting, nightmarish fucking album you're ever gonna hear. Yeah. Dawn Crosby was she doesn't. Jasmine doesn't sound like Dawn. Dawn was
she's more raspy, but still.
Dawn was broken, man, and that's what made that album so special. Do you know that, Jerry?
I do.
I'm not as familiar with it, to be
honest.
honest.
You got to check that out.
Yeah, you got to check out.
Is that
that's the band? Fear of God Within the Veil, I think, is the name of the album.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Beyond the Veil.
I have to check it out for sure.
Dawn unfortunately passed away, but let me see something real quick. I'm blanking out. Within the Veil, 1991, dude. One of the most harrowingly haunting female vocal performances you will ever hear on a metal record. The music is killer too, and no joke, the cleaner sections of your album remind me so much of that album.
Amazing, great,
big time. So
awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to check this out.
But here's the other thing I wanted to note too: the song "Breathe." Are either of you guys Porcupine Tree fans?
No.
Stephen Wilson?
Not really. I mean, I'm familiar with Stephen Wilson and like the work he's done.
Gotta check out the song "Don't Hate Me."
Okay. I've listened to one record from him. It was like a solo record that Guthrie Govan plays on.
Yeah, that's Cannot Erase. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But this is Porcupine Tree. This is 1999. Yeah. You gotta go listen to "Don't Hate Me," all right? Because you didn't do it purposely, but you kind of ripped off the main riff out of there.
Really?
Yeah. Shit. You'll see exactly what I.
Well, yeah. It's like back to earlier about like everyone is just when people are creating shit, like so many things are redone or recreated unintentionally. You know, it's like I mean, I don't listen to. I couldn't even tell you a Porcupine.
Of course,
Tree song or album.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
Do a full song ever.
But it's like that thing that look. There's only 12 notes, so you know you can't rewrite. Well, I guess if you get into microtonal shit and all that stuff, you can.
Yeah.
Arabic scales, there's different, but I mean, with standard Western music, there's the whole tones and the half tones. That's
there's
what you work with.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I heard it right away. I'm like, oh, I wonder if Jerry ever heard "Don't Hate Me," the song off of Stupid Dream. Because I didn't figure you had, but check it out. You'll be like, oh, dude, I totally
I'm gonna just start saying it was intentional.
Yeah, so that track, I mean, look, man, there is not a skipper track on here, not a skipper at all. Echoing Chambers Within the Dismal Mind, man. The riffs on that song are so juicy and delicious, and man, I mean, and we said, as I said, Journey to the Inner Soul is, it's a 3.5 minute instrumental that is very proggy in a lot of ways. It's progressive in that it's not proggy, but it's just got these really cool builds.
Yeah, it's meant to be like kind of. I mean, it's like that song's about meditation, and like I said earlier, like the whole point of the record is about embracing every aspect of yourself. So that's all the good shit, all the bad shit, all the in between shit. And it's funny because it even directly quotes Voice Sports from Sacred Vessel. Like we say the line "Journey into the Inner Soul" or whatever. Or "Journey to the Inner Soul." So where everything's connected, even though they're different releases. Like all our music it's all from our heart. From our heart and soul. That's the whole point of the band. And so it's funny because I actually wrote lyrics. I had an old band called Morbid Vitality back when I was like 12 to 14 or something like that. And I wrote a song called Journey to the Inner Soul, and it was about an experience I had while meditating. And so it's funny, when I wrote the instrumental on Ego Dissolution, those lyrics are there for me, but they're meant for me. They're not meant for someone.
Gotcha.
It's me looking within myself, sort of. But I feel like it kind of leads you on like a more kind of like a what's the word? Like a trance. It's meant to
it's very
bring you down and let you just sit within yourself.
I totally get it with that song. It's very meditative, the way it builds. It's very meditative.
Yeah, I do think it's really also important too to mention, like, the record side A and side B are kind of mirrors of each other. Like, there's weird things that I didn't even realize that we had been doing until after Jasmine and I were talking about it, or the band and I. And like, you have like Journey to the Inner Soul, and it's taken this positive thing, like meditating and trying to look within, and kind of lose the identity of self in a positive way. Whereas Discarnate is about losing identity, and it's about a disassociation. So it's losing identity in a negative way, Okay. So they're kind of like mirrors to each other.
Yeah.
And the whole record's like that, There's a lot of amazing, beautiful shit, and really, really dark,
brutal stuff. Yeah. And I mean, the title kind of says it all. Ego Dissolution. You're trying to get away from being, we live in this world of selfies,
judgment, and
judgment. And
keep this in mind. This is a death metal album. But what makes it, what it is, I think, is the fact that we're being ourselves on it. Like, we're using all these influences of who we are, and not worrying about how this certain part's got to sound like this, and this certain thing has to be like that.
Yeah, you're not chasing trends on this album at all.
Oh,
That's what I think really blew my mind, and what I really loved about it immediately was, okay, yeah, I hear the Morbid Angel part there. Yeah, I hear the Obituary part. Yeah, I hear the Atheist, not so much Atheist, but I hear those parts. But they don't sound contrived within the song. In other words, Ego Dissolution's a good example. 5-minute song. There are sections of that song that the riffs taken unto themselves, you could say, oh, that kind of sounds like this band, or that sounds like this band. But as a whole, melded together, you're like, wow, holy fuck. I mean, I'm not lying, Jerry. I'm listening to this and I'm like, God damn, I'm really jealous. This kid wrote some fucking killer riffs, man.
Oh, thanks,
like,
dude.
This album is ripping, and that's when I listen to music, I want it to inspire me to go pick up my guitar and play something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's
I mean, that's amazing. That's the whole point of music for me. It's like, it's a sharing thing. It's one for, I write songs for myself, and the rest of the guys do too, and gal. But it's, if someone can connect with it and relate to it on whatever level, whether it's, I hate to say it, but like jealousy, or if it's like, just like, wow, this is really inspirational, or if it's like, hey, this is a way I've never thought before, then I feel like I've done my job, and I feel like, I'm giving back to people, and that's all I want to do in terms of music. I just want to create art that I want to listen to, and if someone else connects with it, then fucking amazing,
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, I'm not lying. This album is gargantuan in the effect it had on me right out of the gate. I was like,
cheers, man. Thank you.
So,
thank you very much, man.
Let's see. I had a thought. I don't know if we can get away with this. I think we should just go for it. What do you think? How about we play a song?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's out in 7 days. What are they gonna do? Kill me? I don't know. Let's do it. All right. Let's see how this works. I can't guarantee how it's gonna go, but let's try. Do you guys? Which song would you like to hear that's not out yet? Okay, because right now we have break. Hold on. Help me out. I forget which ones are out on the video.
There's Breaking the Barriers of Hope. That was the first single, and then Unspoken Oath.
Oh, it was Unspoken Oath. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about throwing up Echoing Chambers?
Go for it, man.
Sure. Yeah, man. Fucking do it.
All right. Give me 1 minute here. I got.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the one thing we have to do though is you have to mute yourself.
Okay.
Can you mute yourself on your end?
I can.
Yeah.
And then when you see me come back up, we'll go back in because otherwise you get echo sometimes. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna go now. So go ahead and mute. I had myself muted. Forgot to unmute myself. Could you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I couldn't, man. I couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't?
No, when I muted, my mute button mutes everything.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I think we'll have to, on the rewatch, we'll watch it. But I did samples on Ruins of Everast, and they came out really killer. So, I got to say, I really love the Jasmine vocal songs, man. They just get me every time, man. They're so good. On. But Jerry, this sweet young man that I met 2 years ago, you sound so fucking horrible, man. It's awesome.
I appreciate it.
It's awesome. I just kept, while I'm listening, I kept thinking, that's just lovely little Jerry that was sitting over there going, "Can I get you guys a water? Do you guys want?" I'm like, fucking, hey, dude, this shit is fucking evil, man. But yeah, so a lot of pent up angst and rage there, I guess. But I don't know how you do that to your voice. I've tried to do death metal vocals and I cannot do them. I just don't have that voice. So
I'm probably doing something wrong because I'll probably lose my voice after 10 years, but it's working right now. So
there you go, man. I guess what kind of long range plans? It's tough, as you guys know. Atheist is an established thing. It's been around for almost 40 years. Kelly built that thing, and it's really awesome that it's continuing on. But even that, it's tough to build in the death metal, and I think death metal is very alive and well. I mean, we see that with bands like Blood Incantation selling out 1,000.
Yeah,
and MDF, and but we also know it's still a niche. It's always going to be a niche thing. It's never going to be, something huge. Even Metallica kind of drifted into more butt rock stuff to become the band that they became.
That's why it's still doing what it's doing. I think if this music peaked beyond that, it might not be what it is now. So
I agree. Yeah.
Cheers to that,
So what's the plans then, knowing that you're never going to become rich rock stars off of this? And that's not the point, obviously. This is shit that's coming from your soul to write like this.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you have options? Do you have things that are being worked on as far as touring, as far as that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, obviously our hearts are in it. It's like, we do this because because we need to do this, and we want to do this.
Right.
But yeah, when I get home from the Atheist tour in late June. We are planning on trying to set up a late summer tour for Ancient Death, and we're gonna tour the record. I mean,
now Jerry, would that necessitate getting on a package, or would it just be sort of an East Coast thing, or don't we know yet?
We're kind of weighing our options. We're seeing what works best for us. We also want to do we want these songs to translate the best they can, and maybe that is being on a package, but something like that. It's like, hey, we might have to play shorter, so it's like, do we not play the full record, or do we want to be ballsy and go, hey, we are playing our record? So. I mean, we're kind of working out the details right now, but definitely stay tuned for, I would say, anytime in July and August. We plan on doing some real shows for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, Derek, you mentioned work, so you have a real day job, I assume.
Well, yeah, no, we all have jobs.
Right.
Every single one of us does, but I think it's kind of, in a way, I think it's a little better the way things are, because it gives us certain months to target things. So if we know, okay, this is when Jerry's home, we can kind of get a gauge of what to do with the time, but also, what I have available or vice versa, because I do some other bands as well that are semi-active, maybe not to the degree of extensive touring, but they do things. So we make it work. We do have a few things booked now, like Providence in July. There's one coming up in New Hampshire. So there are a few things coming up soon, but I think we'll build things around that based on any tours that are coming out this way.
And you mentioned, just to tie things up quickly here, Jerry, you're going out in a couple days with Atheist and Obscura and the what's it called? Shredfest, right?
Shredfest, yes.
Shredfest, okay. And then you're doing some really cool overseas stuff, which is going to be rad. Derek, you're going to be playing with Cruciamentum at the Pre-Fest at Maryland Death Fest?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So hopefully, my health is a little bit of a weird thing, Jerry. I mean, I don't know if we ever talked about it, but
yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
we big issues, and they're getting worse, unfortunately. But
sorry, man.
I'm hoping to get down to Richmond to see you guys. I got to make sure that club's a non-smoking club. I think everything's non-smoking now, though.
Yeah,
Virginia wasn't, though. Virginia was the last state. I remember going to see. I remember going to see ISIS a couple years ago. Well, now I'm probably 15 now, and they were the last state around that did not do the smoking thing. And I walked in there, and it was literally like being fucking decked with cigarette smoke. It was like, oh.
Yeah. I remember playing in Pennsylvania that happened, and I played a show in Pennsylvania when I was like 17 or something. I was on my first tour.
Where at? Do you remember?
The Nail, I think it's called.
What city? What city?
Pennsylvania? I think it's Pennsylvania. But
what city? Like up north? Like Scranton or something?
I honestly don't remember.
Crazy.
But we drove down there, and because I was underage and all the other band members at the time were older than me,
right?
They were trying to make us not play because I was underage.
Oh, really? No way.
I was like, we just drove down from Massachusetts. So they let us play. They're like, okay, you can play the show, and then you
gotta leave right away.
Which I didn't do, of course. And but yeah, they were smoking in it, and I was like, whoa, I'm in like a smoking bar right now.
That's
like,
gotta be a ways back. Yeah, that's gotta be a way back because Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania, and it's been, oh man, it's got to be going on close to 15 years since we've been smokeless here everywhere. And I think the only place you could for a while smoke in bars that didn't serve food, or something about 80% of the revenue had to be non-food related or something.
Until how long ago? Like how long is it?
Oh, that changed. That changed at least 8-9 years.
Yeah, it was like never.
Really all right. So yeah, still not a long time, but that's crazy.
As far as I know, and I could be wrong about this, but as far as I know, I think every venue now is smoke free in the U.S. I think.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not gonna say I don't occasionally.
No, I love it honestly. Like I fucking hate cigarettes. So.
Yeah, I hate cigarettes. I mean, I may partake of the other thing.
Too many drinks occasionally. It'll be
yeah.
I'll have my one annual cigarette a year.
Yeah. How do you get? Kelly doesn't smoke on the bus, right?
No.
Okay.
He's super respectful with us. Like we're like, and plus it's like the bus is all of our homes. So it's hey, like,
I didn't figure knowing Kelly, he would be that guy, but you never know. But
he's like the most respectful dude.
He is.
Like, hey,
he's awesome.
You guys cool with this? And it's like,
I love that guy. Love that guy to death.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, definitely.
So I'm hoping to see you, Jerry, the 30th.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Not that far away.
With Kelly and I, and we'll definitely make sure you're in there or whatever. So.
Yep. And Derek, I'll connect with you hopefully at
come find me, man. I know it's Wednesday night, and we'll be there. We're playing, like, I think to open up the headliners.
Mm-hmm.
So
have you been to Death Fest before?
Yeah, I been to MDF. I played it with Churchburn in 2019 as well.
Okay. Oh, I was there. What day was that?
It was the Thursday night. It was with Voivod, Church of Misery. That night.
Okay, I didn't go that night.
Yeah,
I didn't go that night. I had.
Yeah, it was the first night, so it would have been Thursday. Yeah. I don't even know if they had pre-show yet. Then.
I don't think they did back then.
I think they did. Days. Yeah. Yep.
Keep expanding. Pretty soon it'll be a week long.
Yeah, almost is.
Death metal thing, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, man, I'll look you guys up. And again, just to go back to everything's in the description for these guys. I didn't put personal Instagrams and things like that. I didn't feel that was necessary. But cool. Ancient Death Instagram, all the Ancient Death socials are in the description. As you heard, if you made it this far, right now everything is sold out. Did you?
Yeah,
as of right now.
Yeah, we sold out of all the
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Hopefully they.
And I got to say thank you to everybody who's picked up a copy of this record.
Did they indicate they're going to repress the vinyl? I would imagine.
I would think so. I think he probably what most was likely was there was a certain amount for pre-order, and it just got surpassed, which is completely amazing. And I'm sure that for the release, there's probably more copies coming out.
You guys got to pull in a chip for me here, man. I want a copy of that vinyl. Damn it!
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay for it, but I want a copy.
Strings, and I'll try and get you a copy for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this album rules. I'm not kidding when I say it's album of the year potential. It's fucking awesome. Everybody should check this out on Friday. There are 2 tracks up. You bastard. There you go. There it is. I want that copy. Go check out the 2 videos. They're up on YouTube. And guys, fucking job well done, man. Really well done.
Thanks.
Give my regards to your other 2 bandmates. Hang on 1 second there, everybody. By the way, real quick, to show notes here. Tomorrow I will be having this guy. I forget. I always point the wrong way. This guy right there. That guy. I'm going to be having his compatriot and partner in crime. I think, what did I call you guys? The Shred Brothers or something? I don't know.
The Shred Bros.
Something lame. It was something lame.
Yeah. My twin flame.
His partner in crime and Atheist, Mr. Alex Haddad, is we're going to talk about his fucking amazing new album, Desiderium. I forget the name of the album, though. What's the name of it? Do you know?
I forget too, but it's a fucking killer record.
Sorry, Alex. And I'll tell you, that's another thing where I was shocked by your singing. I was mind blown by Alex's singing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Fucking unbelievable. Like his, I mean, and he's doing all that, like the cleans, the
insane
heavy, like he's like, it's like Devin Townsend, but
very Devin Townsend. That's exactly what I was going to say.
So incredible, dude. Here, hold on. I'll get the title right now.
It's one word. Believer or no, not believer.
No. It is Keys to the Palace.
Okay, it's not one word. It's several words. Keys to the Palace. We're going to talk to Alex tomorrow at 4 p.m. here. And then also tonight after the show, after this ends, and I go take a leak quick because I'm dying here. I can't shut the hell up. We are doing a hangover on my buddy Rick's channel, The Dreadful Minutes. We're going to go over record store day hauls, which I spent way too much fucking money today.
Man, I worked record store day today. I work at a record store. So
how was it? How was turnout?
It was crazy, man. I was up at 5:45 a.m. today, and then I drove my ass an hour to work and worked.
You're going
9-hour shift
after this, right? Yeah,
it was pretty fun.
What was like the big sellers? Do you remember?
I mean, honestly, we sold out of mostly like the Post Malone is the big thing for a lot of young kids are just like Taylor Swift, Post Malone. So that was huge. But I mean, we had like a ton of killer stuff like live Judas Priest stuff. Friggin'
I saw that the gold cover one, right? I saw a lot of people flexing that today. Live. Like,
82. I mean, there was like there was George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, like the Zoo.
I just bought the 8 album 50th anniversary George Harrison. It's one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, I have the CD version. I mean, I have the original with the big poster.
The poster,
favorite posters ever. It's just
you didn't meet my younger daughter, Jerry, but one of these days we'll try to hook that up. But because she lives in Nashville right now, but George Harrison, her favorite. George Harrison, Jeff Buckley are two favorites.
All Things Must Pass is
masterpiece.
It's funny. You wouldn't actually normally think of it, but in terms of Ancient Death, like lyrically and some of that more spiritual stuff that I personally tap into is like All Things Must Pass. That's like a huge record for me. It's
beautiful
like
album.
Top 10 record for sure.
I snagged Eternal Idol. Had to have that on vinyl.
Oh yeah.
Love that
album.
Come on, man. Descanting the Insalubrious Carcass.
I saw that today.
There was the DSI too.
I didn't get the DSI. I got Fields of Nephilim, Fallen. Fields of Nephilim is a big one for me. I love that.
Oh,
that
dude,
album
that band's great.
hasn't been out in forever. What else? I got, and this is the one you're gonna be like, wait, the Aha demos from the first album,
dude.
man. Love that album.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my favorite.
It's really cool because this year too, there was also the Grateful Dead stuff and Jerry Garcia. It's funny. I'm named after Jerry Garcia.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me that. Yeah,
Deadheads. But I am a massive Grateful Dead fan.
Are you really?
So, that actually influences some of the Ancient Death stuff a little bit, like those jam band kind of.
Yeah.
Specifically them though, not other jam bands. I'm not huge into, but the way the Dead does it kind of gets me in this weird zone and kind of just going with the flow. And for me, when I'm writing music, that's kind of the approach I take. It's just like, does it feel natural? And even if there's like Derek said earlier, if there's a fuck up, like you get right into it. So, but that was another huge Record Store Day thing today. So,
real quick, we'll just see if there's any cool stuff in here. PH says Thor's Hammer has some sick vocals too. The female vocals, female vocals on Shape of Despair's album. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Let's see anything else here. Makes me wonder. Oh, now this is a good one right here, Jerry. You see that?
Yeah. So it's funny. Kelly's been trying to get me to do live vocals, but honestly, like with Atheist, like I just
you have so much going on guitar wise.
I mean, I could do it. There's no doubt in my mind. Like I've learned to do all of Kelly's parts and play guitar too with him, like basically like he did. Like I discovered that band when I was like 12 and was like trying to cover that shit back then. But I just love playing guitar in a band too, you know? Like Ancient Death gives me that outlet to do vocals, but Atheist is like, I just want to play fucking guitar. Like Kelly's the vocalist, Yoav has some sick vocals. I just kind of want to sit back and just fucking shake my hips and fucking groove, you know?
Yeah, and you're a very active player. You're all over the place. You're into. I mean, that's Atheist is one. It's like when I saw you guys. Believe it or not, that was the first time I saw Atheist or Cynic on that tour.
Oh wow, yeah.
I missed them back in the day.
Yeah.
And the thing that struck me was, you know, when you guys come out, you're like a feral beast, and then Cynic comes out, and it's a totally different vibe. It's the astral, you know, contemplative, spacey, trippy stuff.
Both sides of the spectrum.
Well,
exactly.
I gotta say, man, like when you go see Atheist, you're seeing dudes jamming, no assisted anything, coming out the way it was in 91, 1990.
No backing tracks.
Nothing.
No garbage.
Yeah, like how good it is. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I got the chance to go to the Boston debut. And I was just like, wow, you know, that's exactly how it should have been. You know, like it's just dudes coming out and doing the material, you know. It's killer.
PH actually mentioned the Nail is in Philly. It's in Ardmore, so it's near Philly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's been so long. I mean, like I said, I'm 27 now, so it was 10 years ago, and it's like my first tour. It was like,
apparently they have vinyl on Amazon, so I may have to go grab it from there. I hate to give Jeff Bezos any money, but I definitely want to get one. So
yeah.
Last resort, man. Last resort.
Guys, hang on one second. I'm gonna tap it out there because I've kept you an hour and a half, and I appreciate the time that you gave me. I hope you enjoyed being here, and just give me one moment, okay? Any last words?
We love you. Thanks.
Yes.
Man.
Just want to say thanks everyone for supporting the new record and Ancient Death. We appreciate everyone. So thanks for your help.
All right, man. Hang loose one